Welcome back to our channel, fellow Port Charles addicts. Today is a beautiful day to dive deep into the madness of our favorite soap. Grab your coffee, or maybe something stronger, because we have an absolute bombshell of an episode to unpack together. Let's get right into it. I cannot breathe. I literally just finished watching the latest episode. It is way past midnight, and I am typing this up so fast my fingers are actually cramping because I just have to get this out of my system. I can't believe they actually did that. I mean, we all knew something massive was going to happen at Windermere, because when does anything normal ever happen on Spoon Island? But this is next level insane. I am still sitting here in the dark staring at my screen, trying to process what Carly just stumbled into. Are you guys seeing this? Because I feel like I am losing my mind over here. But let me just jump right into my feelings, before I even try to explain the actual plot logistics of what went down. I am so overwhelmed with a mix of absolute shock, weird relief, and sheer terror for Carly. I've been watching this show religiously since 2015, and this has to be one of the most jaw-dropping, heart-pounding sequences they have ever pulled off in those creepy Windermere catacombs. We have seen a lot of bodies drop in Port Charles over the decades, but the sheer execution of this scene, pun absolutely intended, it was cinematic. It was terrifying. It felt like a horror movie in the best possible way. And of course, it had to be Carly. Because who else is going to go totally rogue, ditch her perfectly good backup plan with Lucas Jones, and sneak into a Gothic castle's secret underground tunnel system, armed with nothing but a flashlight and pure maternal rage? I know some people are loving this solo Carly rescue mission, but personally, I was screaming at my TV. Like, Carly, what are you doing? You told Danny and Charlotte to call Sunny if you weren't back by 8 p.m. But girl, 8 p.m. is going to be way too late if you run into a psycho with a gun. But she did it anyway, creeping through the dark trying to find Jocelyn. So she's navigating these dark, damp tunnels beneath the castle. The lighting in this scene was phenomenal, by the way. Just the beam of her flashlight cutting through the pitch black of the stone walls. You could hear water dripping. You could hear her breathing. And then she trips. She literally stumbles over something heavy in the shadows. For a split second, I thought it was going to be one of Sidwell's goons, or maybe even Liesl Obrecht if Cullum had decided she was no longer useful and dumped her. But no. Oh my god, no. The flashlight beam slowly pans up from the boots to the chest, and we see the face. It was Cassius Faison, dead. Lifeless on the cold stone floor of the Windermere tunnels. I screamed. I actually woke up my dog because I yelled at the television. I mean, they really just killed him off. Just like that. After months and months of this agonizing imposter storyline, after watching him wear Nathan West's face and manipulate everyone in town, his story ends in the dirt under a castle. I'm sorry, but I am still reeling. I kinda hated Cassius for what he was doing to Maxie and James. Well, no, wait. I didn't hate the character himself. I hated the deception. It was brilliant soap villainy, but it was so painful to watch. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, back to the point. Carly is kneeling there in the dark, shining her light on this guy who looks exactly like Nathan. And here's the detail that absolutely sent a shiver down my spine. The body was still warm. Still warm, you guys. That means Ross Cullum had literally just pulled the trigger or snapped his neck, or whatever he did, moments before Carly walked into that specific corridor. The killer was still down there. He was probably just around the corner. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Because let's break down exactly how we got to this dead body. We know Cassius just completely botched his final mission. He was supposed to take out Jen Sidwell, but then he got sidetracked because he just had to say a final goodbye to little James West at the batting cages. Remember when they tried this kind of tragic villain redemption arc with Peter August? Yeah, didn't work then either. You can't be a ruthless imposter and a loving dad at the same time. Cody Bell stepped in, stopped Cassius from taking James, and completely blew Cassius's cover. Then Joe Fitzpatrick called in the APB from the hospital. So Cassius is cornered. The whole town is looking for him. The police know he's a fake. Anna Devane just figured out his true identity over in France. He has nowhere to go, but back to his boss Ross Cullum at Windermere. And what does Cullum do? He cleans house. He ties up loose ends. Cullum is not the kind of villain who tolerates failure, especially not when he is this close to getting his hands on the cold fusion prototype that Liesl just finished. Cassius failed to kill Sidwell, failed to secure his escape, and brought a massive police manhunt right to Cullum's doorstep. So Cullum executed him. Cold-blooded, zero hesitation murder. And I just have to say, Ross Cullum is rapidly becoming one of the most terrifying, effective villains we have had in Port Charles in years. He doesn't monologue endlessly, he doesn't leave his enemies in easily escapable traps well, except maybe Joss and Liesel, but they are literally digging through a wall right now, so that's on him. Cullum just gets the job done. The fact that he dropped Cassius without a second thought proves that nobody is safe right now. Nobody, not even his right-hand man. Am I the only one who felt a tiny, microscopic pang of sympathy for Cassius in that moment? I know. Hear me out. The guy dug up his own twin brother, stole his identity, pointed a gun at Joe, and helped kidnap Jocelyn. He is absolute garbage. But seeing him dead on that floor, realizing he was just a pawn in Cullum's massive twisted game, it kinda hit hard. He risked everything just to say goodbye to a kid he had grown to love, and it cost him his life. It's poetic soap justice, but it's still dark as hell. But let's get back to Carly, because Laura Wright's acting in this scene was top tier. You could see the exact moment the realization hit her. She touches the body, feels the warmth, and her eyes just go wide with pure, unadulterated panic. She realizes that Ross Cullum is still in the tunnels. If she makes a sound, if she drops that flashlight, if she breathes too loud, she is going to be the next body they find in the catacombs. She is completely trapped in a deadly game of hide and seek, with a highly trained, ruthless WSB director who has already proven he will kill anyone in his way. This completely changes the stakes of her rescue mission. Before, it was just Carly being Carly, breaking in to find Jocelyn and drag her home by the ear if she had to. Now, it is a literal race against death. Because if Cullum is willing to execute his top henchman just for failing a kidnapping, what is he going to do to Jocelyn and Liesel once he has the cold fusion tech? He's going to slaughter them. Carly knows this now. The warmth of Cassius's body is a ticking clock for her daughter's life. I am so incredibly stressed out about this. Like, my stomach is in knots. Carly is completely unarmed, right? She didn't bring a gun. She didn't bring Lucas. She just brought her fierce mom energy, which is great for yelling at Nina Reeves in the Metro Court, but not so great for deflecting bullets from a rogue WSB agent. She has to find that captivity compound, get Joss and Liesel out, and somehow avoid crossing paths with Cullum in a dark, echoing stone maze. And can we talk about the absolute atomic bomb this is going to drop on Port Charles when the news breaks? The truth about Cassius Faison is finally going to come out in the most brutal way possible. When they wheel that body into GH, or the PCPD morgue, the whole town is going to lose their minds. Maxie, Felicia, Mac, Dante, Lulu. Lulu is already having a complete meltdown over the fact that Nathan was a fake, but wait until she finds out he was murdered by the same guy who poisoned Britt's meds and shot up the pier. I am dreading the scene where they have to tell little James that the man he thought was his father is dead. Again, how much trauma can one kid take? First he loses his real dad, then a guy shows up wearing his dad's face, makes him love him, and then gets murdered in a gothic castle basement. It is so tragic. But at the same time, I am so here for the dramatic fallout. The acting from the Scorpio Jones family is going to be Emmy-worthy. I can already feel it. So what happens next? I'm trying to figure out my predictions because my brain is going a million miles an hour. If Carly gets caught by Cullum, she is going to end up in that cell right alongside Jocelyn and Liesel. And honestly, that might be exactly what happens. Cullum is too smart to just leave a body where someone can stumble over it unless he was in a massive hurry. Maybe he heard Carly coming? Oh god, what if he was watching her from the shadows the whole time? Wait, no. If he saw her, he would have killed her on the spot. He literally just told her earlier that she saved him a trip because he was going to kidnap her anyway. So he wants her alive as leverage against Valentine. That's it. He killed Cassius because Cassius was useless. But Carly is the ultimate bait for both Sunny and Valentine. If Cullum finds her down there, he isn't going to shoot her, he's going to throw her in the cage. Which means Danny and Charlotte are going to hit that 8 p.m. deadline, call Sunny, and all hell's going to break loose on Spoon Island. I know some people are probably going to complain that they ended the Cassius storyline too abruptly. Like, oh, we spent months on this imposter plot just for him to get offed in a tunnel? But personally, I think it is brilliant. It subverts expectations. We all thought Cassius was going to have this long, drawn-out trial or a massive standoff on the docks. We thought Anna was going to fly back from France and confront him in some dramatic courtroom scene. Instead, he gets swatted like a fly by the real big bad of the summer. It establishes Cullum as an absolute monster and raises the stakes to the absolute maximum. We are heading straight into the climax of this summer sweep storyline, and I am not ready. Between Carly playing cat and mouse in the dark with a murderer, Jocelyn and Liesel trying to hotwire a door, and Sonny about to get the phone call of his life from Danny. This is peak General Hospital. This is why I have been watching for years. They drive me crazy. They make me yell at my screen. But when they deliver, they deliver. I am going to need a strong drink before tomorrow's episode. Let me know in the comments if you guys are as freaked out as I am, because I definitely need to share this panic with people who get it.